Before you waste your first season in Starsand Island, just listen. After putting a lot of hours into it, I noticed how I made so many inefficient decisions that it actually hurts. Let me tell you, even though the game just launched in early access, sometimes it doesn't feel like it. There are multiple professions, a massive town, exploration, ranching, farming, crafting, systems layered on top of other systems. Yeah, it's packed. So here are the beginner tips I wish I knew earlier that will actually make your life easier from day one. The very first thing you should focus is completing profession quests. I know it sounds very obvious because it's one of the first things the game will tell you to do, but if you actually want smooth progression, professions are the backbone of this game. As you progress in all professions, you will unlock better blueprints, better tools, better seeds, better materials. Almost everything important is locked behind profession ranks. And the good news, the first couple certifications are really easy. You can finish them out quickly on your first couple of days, and as soon as you complete one, you can immediately start the next. And if for some reason the next quest doesn't show up, just end the conversation and talk to the mentor again. And you will also hear a lot to focus on crafting because it's the most important profession at the beginning since it unlocks basically everything that makes your life easier, but you don't need to do just that one. You can accept all of the other profession quests right away. You don't need to finish one to start another, and I really recommend that you do all of them at the same time. And advice, don't sleep on the exploration profession. Advancing exploration lets you push further into the Moonlit Forest. Actually, you need it to unlock the Moonlit Forest, which gives you access to better materials, which circles back into crafting. These two professions are best friends, they walk together, so if you push one and ignore the other, progression will feel slow. Now, don't sleep on the farming and ranching professions either. Even if you're not going full farming mode at the beginning, progressing those professions unlocks better seeds, better animal systems, and more ways to make money. You don't have to min-max them immediately, but don't abandon them either, because they scale really well as you move into mid-game. And fishing can be the least of your priorities. Fishing is good and the money you make from it is also okay, but there are better and passive ways to make more money early on. Work smart, not hard. Unless you really like fishing, then go for it. Okay, next one seems dumb, but that's because I'm dumb. So check the store related to the profession you just leveled in rank. As you increase your rank in each profession, new items and blueprints unlock in specific stores, and it makes sense, like if you need seeds, you're going to buy them at the seed store, and if you need animals, you're going to the ranch. But for some reason, since you got a lot of blueprints related to those professions, I assumed that all the blueprints would all just magically appear in the general store because it's, well, where you basically learn to craft. So if you need the blueprints to craft something like tools or other type of stations, I thought all of them would appear at the general store, but it's not the case. So check all stores. Even stores that are not related to any profession will also have blueprints. And also another tip that sounds dumb, but that's because I am dumb. Also check every tab. Some shops have multiple tabs separating the types of products they sell. For example, Graminova's shop has the seeds, blueprints, and fertilizer tabs. And if you're like me, who only looks quickly at what you need instead of paying attention to the whole picture, you will absolutely miss this until later on. So don't be dumb as I was, okay? Okay, now back to crafting for a second. Processing goods in this game is surprisingly fast. Unlike other crafting sims where you need 3 to 4 of each machine running at all times, that's right, my time serious, I am looking at you. Here, one of each type is honestly enough. The only exception, jam makers, but I will get into that later. So yeah, you don't need to build a factory on your farm. Starsand Island feels much cozier in that sense. But because processing is fast, it tricks you into being lazy. At least it tricked me, because I am lazy. So don't be lazy like me. Always leave something processing while you go do something else or before going to sleep. I know it sounds very obvious, but listen. Since it's very fast, I used to only process items when I needed them for quests or to craft something that I wanted to craft. But the thing is, it is fast to process, but depending on the amount of items you need to process, it takes a bit of time, but not long enough that you can quickly go to town or to the Moonlit Forest to do something else or whatever. which means I would just stand there looking at the screen, waiting 30 seconds, 1 minute or more, just waiting for the goods to finish processing. That doesn't sound like much, but when every single day I had those moments, like multiple times a day, that adds up. And since we're talking about running off to do something else, when you go to Moonlit Forest, grab everything. Flowers, get them. Mushrooms, get them. Or mine them like your rent, depends on it. Even some basic forageables like flowers and mushrooms, like I mentioned, become important later on for crafting some recipes. Not just for cooking, but for making feed for your animals or fertilizers in your own home. So future you will be very grateful that past you decided to hoard like a goblin. And note that this game has so many items, I was sweating. So craft storage boxes as soon as you unlock them from the general store. I know it's another obvious tip, but that's why it's so important to rank up in the professions. And the moment you rank up in crafting, buy the upgraded storage blueprints immediately. The inventory boxes 2 and 3 are lifesavers. There are just too many resources in this game to survive on baby storage alone. And later you will unlock round boxes, which are basically inventory inside inventory. Like storage inception, but those need like some rarer materials, so early game boxes 2 and 3 are gonna do the trick. And you can also upgrade your bag at your bag menu. The first few upgrades are actually very easy, so don't procrastinate like I did. You're going to come home every single day with 73 types of items, so upgrade that bag. Again, your future self will thank you. And talking about future self will thank you, do the island life quests from your phone's app to unlock fast travel as soon as possible. Yeah, this town is ginormous, and after completing the first part of the island life tasks, which are fairly easy to do, you will unlock the island pro section, which lets you start a quest to build the bus station. And once that is done, you can then start constructing the bus stops. And since fast travel is life-changing, start hoarding materials early, which will be fairly easy because they require easy materials. It's just a matter of quantity over quality. For most of them, you will need 10 softwood planks, 10 stone bricks, 5 iron sheets, and 5 glass panels. The only stop that is different is the lake one, because it needs 10 bamboo plates instead of softwood planks. And if you pre-craft these materials, you will be able to unlock the most important bus stops fairly early on. And if you need some guidance on which ones to unlock first, I personally would advise you to focus on these 3. The Exploration Club stop, the Aqua Blue Post that is by the aquarium, and the East Hopeland stop. Why? Because you will be visiting Delphine and Zephyria a lot early game for profession quests, and there's a lot of back and forth in here. And they are far and opposites to each other, so if you need to go from one point to the other, it's also easier. Then the East Hopeland is near your ranch and close to town. Yeah, these 3 stops eliminate so much walking. After that, just go with whatever your heart desires. And a tip for a navigation early on before the fast travels are unlocked: as you complete certain profession quests, you will get vouchers to rent Neona's scooters and ranch animals for a limited period of time. So don't forget to use them. Early game before fast travel is unlocked, they are super helpful. So don't save these vouchers for later, because later you will have better options anyway. So here's the real navigation meta. Advance your crafting profession until you unlock rollerblades. They are faster than the skateboard, you can boost speed, you can jump unlike the vehicles, and equipping or unequipping is way faster than the vehicles again. And since you can complete the early certifications very fast, I unlocked the rollerblades super early, and because of that, I didn't even finish using my rental vouchers. The rollerblades were that much better and more straightforward. And let's be honest, they are also just more aesthetic. It gives main character energy, I love it. And let me tell you something very important about the rollerblades. You can use them in Moonlit Forest. Yeah, later you're gonna unlock the hoverboard that's even better than the rollerblades, but you cannot use it in the forest, so guess who will win here? The rollerblades. Yeah, they make forest exploration so much smoother. You can avoid enemies while you're just wanting to get the resources around them. You can advance fast while looking for what you need, or just explore faster, progress faster. Anyway, it's awesome. Alright, now let's get into farming and money tips. If you want better income early on, process items before selling. As part of the crafting certification process, you will need to craft a separator, so process items in it before selling them. You can turn insects into protein powder, you can turn vegetables into vegetable juice, and you can also use, I think it's a loom, to turn rabbit wool into flannel. So yeah, you can process a lot of raw items. So yeah, processed goods often sell for more than raw materials, but notice how I said often, and this is important. Do not blindly process everything, which connects to my next tip. Sometimes a crop sells for 80 gold, and the processed version sells for 20 gold. You might think, why would I process this? It's not worth it. But different crops give a different amount of total processed goods. Total amount of processed goods sells for more than just one of their raw counterpart. However, since the amount of processed goods you get depends on their raw counterpart, sometimes it's not worth it, so always check. We are cozy farmers, yes, but we are also serious business people. Now, a random tip that, again, must sound dumb, but yeah, I am dumb. After ranking up in farming, you will unlock green grape seeds. Plant them immediately and save 30 grapes for the farming profession quests. You will need trellises for this, which you can unlock through completing early island life tasks on your phone. Now listen, craft 5 trellises and plant 5 green grapes at the beginning. Because do you know what I did? I planted 1, then I realized it would take forever to complete the quest, so I planted another one. And it was still slow. I panicked and I only finished that quest by the end of summer, but the blueprints you unlock after completing it are super helpful for making farming easier and for making money easier. So don't delay that power spike. And okay, as soon as you unlock watermelon seeds, plant them, a bunch of them, a whole farm of them. They are the most profitable crop during summer. And if your goal is fast money and stable income, watermelons are your best friend early on. So thank you, fictional capitalism. Also, plant your watermelons in 3x3 plots. Why? Because that gives you a chance to grow a giant crop. Each season only has one crop that can grow into its giant version, and summer's giant crop, yep, the watermelon. When you harvest a giant crop, you will get an item called that specific giant crop fragments. Save these fragments, okay? Save them. You will need those fragments for a farming quest later, so if you start early, you can hoard enough fragments to finish that quest in summer. And if you're like me, you have only half the fragments needed and will have to start all over in fall with pumpkins, so learn from my seasonal trauma. And once you reach Junior Farmer, you will unlock the Jam Maker blueprint. Craft it and make watermelon jam. You need for this watermelon and sugar, which you get by processing sugarcane or beets into sugar. The jam takes about 9 hours to finish. Yes, it's long, yes, it's painful, but it sells for good money. This is why earlier I said the jam makers are the exception. One machine is not enough if you're going full watermelon god. Now, let's talk ranching because surprisingly, it walks side by side with farming. Animals are not just for cuteness here, they are unpaid farm interns. At the beginning, focus on chickens and rabbits. Chickens handle flying pests around trellis crops and rabbits remove weeds from regular crops, which, yeah, the weeds slow crop growth. So these animals literally reduce your manual labor, which reduces the stamina you lose by doing all that yourself. And we love automation. And this is where strategy kicks in. These animals work based on proximity. So plan your farm layout early. Group trellises together and place the chicken coops nearby, and do the same thing with regular crops and the rabbit hutches. Because if your crops are scattered and your animals are also scattered, it will not work, okay? They will be confused and so will you, so organize that farm. Also, you will notice that weeds respawn fast, and each rabbit only removes like 5 weeds per day. So once you start expanding those fields, they will not be able to keep up. So don't be afraid to build more rabbit hutches, adopt or breed more rabbits, and create a small fluffy weeding army. Again, it will save you so much time and stamina. But you don't need to keep buying new animals constantly, because animals in Starsand Island, they can reproduce, so here's how it works. You need one adult male and one adult female from the same species, and they must be living in the same coop slash hutch slash house slash whatever their little home is called, I don't remember each one. And you need at least one free space in that house. If there's space and the RNG is good, the baby will just materialize the next day. It's very quick and very easy, to be honest. And each animal has 4 variations you can get through breeding, so if you're aiming for a specific type of animal and the RNG keeps giving you the wrong one, you do not need to build another house just to store your oopsie animals, you know? Just check their perks, because sometimes they are better than the animals you already have, and then you can sell the ones you don't want and just try again. But it's important to know that animals have like a breeding cooldown, and sometimes it's better anyway to keep the baby until they become an adult, because then you can sell those adult animals for more money than babies. And also they need to be in your bag for you to be able to sell them. Also, keep an eye when cutting trees and bushes, because sometimes a random animal just drops from them. And then you just pick it up, take it home, with no questions asked. My first rabbit actually was a dango rabbit. It fell out of a tree while I was clearing the land to plant seeds during my first few minutes in game, and I stood there like, what type of distribution system is this? Yeah, free animals are the best animals. And as you progress in ranching, you will unlock bigger animals like pigs, cows, and sheep, but listen, prepare yourself. I went wild. I bought a couple of each, built their little houses, and started breeding them as soon as I could. Then I realized that their feed is expensive. Oh yeah, especially early game when you're also buying blueprints, expanding your farm, and just existing. And you can craft their feed yourself, but most recipes require eggs, which means you need a lot of female chickens, so make sure you can sustain their eating habits. Because bankruptcy, because of a few cute little pigs, it's not worth it. And one thing that is different in Starsand Island is milking. You actually don't use a milker, instead you craft milk bottles. Then you interact with the animal to milk them, and the bottle turns into milk. Yes, you will lose the bottle every time, so every milking session requires a new empty bottle. Milk bottles are crafted using glass panes, which means keep quartz or glass in stock just in case. Now let's talk relationships for a second. Don't overcomplicate gifting, okay? Because romance wasn't added in early access. Yes, we don't have romance right now. There's no hard events besides the intro scenes, and the dialogues are pretty standard. So you don't need to go all out trying to impress romanceable characters with important resources, cause this isn't a full dating sim yet. This is not a tip, just a heads up. Now here's the actual strategy. After reaching 1 heart with a character, they will start giving you gifts when you talk to them. Which is nice, getting things for free, yes. Especially Oralis. Pamper Oralis because he will randomly give you 1,000 gold like frequently. Yeah, Sir just became my sugar daddy. And I'm not complaining, I really like him. So yes, at least get everyone to 1 heart, it's low effort, and here's why. All the characters will like or even love very easy gifts. Moonflowers and twilight succulents. And you find these very easily in Moonlit Forest, so you don't need to give them dishes or important resources. The only exception, Lauren. Lauren does not care about your moonflowers. He likes grilled fish instead, which is honestly easy to cook, so that's also manageable. And one more thing, save some moonlight flowers, okay, because you will need them for crafting fertilizers at home. At least one type of fertilizer. And they are very abundant in early Moonlit Forest areas, so even if you end up giving a lot of them away, you can always restock, which is great. Back to the characters, after meeting one for the first time, their location unlocks on the map, so you can track them, yes, like a stalker. But if you're still struggling to find them, go into the social tab and track them. It will show you where they are and how to get to them. So there's no more checking that giant map like, where are you? Like crazy. And there's also another way of getting like random free relationship points, which is pay attention to the ground. Yes, when you're walking around, you can see random items on the ground, and then you can pick them up. They are lost items, and each one belongs to a romanceable NPC. It will start a side quest, and if you return it to their person, you will get a nice relationship boost. It's literally free friendship bonus, so don't ignore things on the floor or sparkles at Pastel's ranch. We are very helpful citizens if we get something in return. Also, check the request board daily. You can accept up to 3 requests per day. The benefits: good relationship points, good money, and many are super easy to complete, like basic crops, simple crafted items and stuff. It's honestly very low effort most of the time, and you're also gonna need to complete 30 of them to progress with the island life tasks as well. And you can also buy your own request board. Yeah, you can actually buy a request board from the general store to put on your farm. This way you can check requests before leaving home, which means you can craft what you need and plan your day efficiently. It really removes some back and forth running. Next tip is to pay attention, because storage counts for quests but not for everything else. To complete quests, the required items do not need to be in your bag. They can stay in your home storage, which is amazing. However, if you want to gift someone or sell specific items, they must be in your bag. And check your apps. There's free stuff waiting for you. Yeah, open your phone. Aside from Island Life rewards, there are 2 more apps you should not ignore. The Starnote app that has little tasks that you will naturally complete just by playing the game, and the rewards are nice, some blueprints, some cute, like very cute outfits, and some gorgeous hairstyles. They are also adorable. You don't even need to grind for them, just exist in the game and you will unlock stuff. But you can also check the tasks that you need to complete. And then we have the Islandpedia app. This one, I totally slept on it. Do not be me. As you discover like animals, crops, forageables, blueprints, decoration, recipes, you will earn stamps, and these stamps give rewards. Early on, that includes gold, like a lot of gold, which is extremely helpful in early game when every coin matters. So don't randomly open this app halfway through a season and realize you've been sitting on free rewards like me. Yeah, collect your money, girl. And since I mentioned outfits and cute hairstyles, don't panic about character customization. After creating your character, don't worry, all clothing and hairstyles plus more options become available for purchase at Lunel's and Serena's shops, alongside other very cute options like I mentioned. So if you're bored and want a different hairstyle for a different type of outfit, you're fine. You're gonna have a blast because I'm so in love with this game's character customization. Everything is just so adorable and so cute. I really love it. And last but not least, there is no correct way to play this game. And this is important. Starsand Island doesn't have a strict storyline. It actually doesn't even have a storyline, at least in early access. So there's no rigid recipe you must follow, and everything I told you, they're just optimization tips, they are not rules. So if you want to just pause profession progression and just focus on making money for cosmetics, if you don't want to hoard materials, if you want to just focus on building your dream farm before anything else, do it. The game lets you move at your own pace. If you feel like other stuff are better than what I did, it's because it works better for you, and that freedom, that's the cozy magic. I love that how in my tips videos there's always people commenting on other tips that I didn't notice that we could do, or it was something different than what I did, because every person has its own way of playing, so that's the magic. So if you also have tips for this game, feel free to leave it in the comments, because maybe something different that works for you might work for someone else that it's also checking the video and checking the comments. And that's everything I wish I knew when I first started Starsand Island. From profession priorities to watermelon empires to building a small rabbit army so I don't have to touch weeds ever again. So don't stress about doing everything perfectly. Just build your farm, hoard your flowers, zoom around on your rollerblades like the main character you are. And remember, optimization is fun, but the cozy chaos is the real magic. Now go forth, stay hydrated, and remember, life is too short to stand in a game for a full minute waiting for processed goods while you question your life choices. See you in the next harvest. Bye bye!